All right, hey, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be your SITREP. It is around 12:30 p.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Texas, live from the Monkey Lounge. And let's jump on over here to, if you haven't done so, the monkeyworksprep.com. We've got 3-month kits back in stock. If you missed out on these last time, they are on sale, and for a pretty good chunk of change. That also includes free shipping. This is a kit that has over 2,000 calories a day, 21 different varieties, a 25-year shelf life, and it includes everything from breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, etc. It's 120 pounds worth of food coming to you, again, free 90 free on shipping. And that is the big deal going. These will not last long. So hop over there, monkeyworksprep.com. That's monkeyworksprep.com. And now let's get over here to Skyglass without further ado, just so you guys can see what we have up right now. Sitting at, let's see, 31 air refuelers over the United States. You can see the two had already come down, or sorry, one actually came down to the Texas border. Looks to be headed south, back northbound. And then we've got another one here headed back and forth over Tucson to the southern border as well. So Arizona, Texas look like they've got some border patrol going from a fighter support perspective. And then it looks like we've got some activity going on out over the Gulf of Mexico with this refueler, and then up here to the north over Michigan and over Wisconsin as well. And then, of course, as we would expect, because Flashbang is on vacay, it looks like they've got some air refueling coverage over his head right here. And so let's look at Europe for a quick second. Let's see if we've got anything. I don't see anything at all over Europe in terms of U.S. Or air refuelers up. So we'll head back over here to CONUS. Let's see. Trainers. If we just unselect these, we've got over, almost 150 trainers that are up over the U.S. right now. We'll take away these traces so it doesn't block up our sky. But 150 trainers. I've taken those out. It leaves us at around we were at 226 with 150 trainers out. So very, very busy today over the United States relative to military. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the watch list as we get into this. Just notice we've got, looks like a little Phoenix there. That's the usual one there. Some survey flights down all the way to the southern side of California and then up to the north towards Washington State. Couple Intel birds there south of Tucson, and a drone over Biggs Army Airfield. Looks to be a UK drone. We've seen that one before. That's, I think, Valkyrie. More survey flights. And then those were 2 Intel balloons. I just circled a third Intel balloon. Also, that's over Florida. And that's going to be NSA, just listening to everything. And then, let's see, Southern California, Southern Florida, and then all of these are surveys, but Southern Florida looks to be Homeland Security. That one is that same Yellow Wings. It's an African company, and for some reason that thing is dinging parked at a negative 900 feet off the the eastern seaboard. And we got a little G5 there looking to get airborne, and see if we had anything else, survey flights, and then that Canadian Spec Ops boys up there south of Newfoundland. And then we've got, looks like a little Navy P-8 there out towards the North Sea, or coming back from that, a couple of the German intelligence balloons, and then a whole bunch of drones over Turkey. It's crazy how much our governments watch us. All right, Intel. These, notice you got one transitioning back and forth to from Southern Cal up to Washington State, then some looks to be from Tucson to Colorado. Looks a little bit of eastern seaboard stuff, and then again, this one into Goose Bay up to the north. Again, Intel planes, aircraft, and then we get over here to Europe, and you can see the usual. Notice the layers there. That's probably Brio 66 or 68, looking closely at Russia, which is Kaliningrad, and then up from Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, looking closely, obviously, at Poland. And then notice very, very active looking down at Moldova, Odessa. It's over in and out of Constanta, clearly looking at Crimea as well. And then down over towards Greece And notice here, Israel. Look at the stuff on Jordan. Look at the border of Jordan between Saudi and Jordan. Southern side, eastern side. What are they looking at? That's the million-dollar question. And then, of course, you expect it. Israel's looking very closely at its northern border near Lebanon, probably taking a close look at Hezbollah and the Iranian buildup there to the southern side near Damascus. And then down over Gaza, it looks like they were looking closely as well. So you kind of expect to see that. Again, intel, and then we back up. You can see you've got look like a couple broken traces coming out of Australia and then up here into the Philippines. So, all right, let's take a look at surveys. We've got 202 total surveys over the last 3 days. Notice that one down towards Tripoli, headed back up north there over what looks to be Netherlands, and then that over Poland. Not sure what they're tracing over Poland. Again, this is survey flights, so they're doing LiDAR ground data stuff. Australia, same thing. A little bit of a pick-me-up here over Perth. It had died down in the last one, and then looks like some stuff down over Tasmania. And we go back over to CONUS, and it is, as always, chock full. Just notice right there along the Louisiana-Texas border looks to be very active along the waterfront and then up in between the two. And then some stuff over Alabama towards Atlanta. Off of the eastern seaboard, close to Bazooka Joe. And then we get up here to the North Dakota, still getting some stuff. Washington State, as expected. Idaho, and then we get down Southern Cal, Tucson. Again, survey flights, all right? And then we get up here, Alaska, getting a little more active. Looks to be headed back and forth, gathering some kind of weird data there. All right, we'll spin it around. I don't see anything from a Hawaii perspective. Looks like Hawaii did a quick hit and run there. Don't see anything else. Okay, let's talk the Ruskies. Quite busy. Notice in and out of Kaliningrad, up towards St. Petersburg, and then out to the east, the eastern side of Russia, and looks like some flights over into China, maybe even, just into China. And then down here into the Red Sea. I don't get that one, but that's where it went. Remember Sudan? We just had a bunch of stuff happen in Africa. We've got Niger, who just had an overthrow of their leader. So pay attention to that one. U.S. isn't too concerned about it. They don't support the current coup, is what they're saying. So it looks like they're just going to let it ride. Probably are behind it to begin with. But anyway, check this out. This is the eastern side of the house. Again, this is drone activity. It looks like D.C. is the main focus. And then we get up here, a little bit of low altitude water droning off of Denmark. And then also towards Constanta. That's probably a Q9. Q4 out over the Black Sea, looking closely at Constanta. They are trying to do everything they can. If you think this is about grain, nope. All right, and then notice the stuff over Turkey, just super duper busy from a drone perspective. And we'll go down south, see nothing down under. All right, let's go look at R135s. And looks like a little bit there over Bahrain, general area, and Qatar. All right. Now, R135s, that one in the middle over Texas, look at everything, probably gathering data in Dallas-Fort Worth, probably why my fiber optic network no longer works. And let's see, as we see the broken trace there in Alaska, we've got a squadron of R135s up there doing some work. And then again, surrounding Kaliningrad, looking at very closely at Belarus and the movements. We'll talk about that here in a minute. And then this broken trace, and then back and forth up to the north, which is looking at the northern side of Russia there out over the water. And then over the Persian Gulf. All right, sub-hunters. Kick it off here in Crete. And then notice you got the work up towards Constanta. Those are Navy P-8s. And then some stuff out over the North Sea. Again, sub-hunters. And then notice that broken trace, just like the R135. Out north, looking at the Russian stuff. Gulf of Mexico, East Coast. So that would be a good indicator. We got some subs up there. Don't know what they're doing up there near Lake Huron. But check that out. It's kind of strange to see a Navy sub-hunter looking at stuff in the water up there. A little bit of stuff going off the coast of Washington State near Seattle, and then Southern California again, down near the border. Again, Navy P-8s, P-3s, sub-hunters. All right. Okay, back over here to the mini board, and let's get into the news of what's going on today. That is not all right. Let's say Poland is basically saying Belarusian helicopters violated their airspace, low altitude right along their eastern border. And remember, they are already worried about the Wagner group who is standing up shop in the same area along that border. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it looks like somebody is poking at Poland from a Russian and Belarus perspective. And that is probably going to get NATO a little bit in a tizzy. Keep in mind that as Ukraine starts to make strikes into Moscow, I believe Zelensky is baiting, trying to make Moscow engage into Kiev, which is probably going to make the NATO alliance react or respond. Okay, since he can't seem to get NATO to engage and help him, there may be a likelihood that he will try the other way, and that is bringing Russia in to increase the scale of the war and the areas in which they are attacking, and then making NATO engage through that. So watch little Napoleon there, because he is up to something. There's no two ways about it. Just as a data point for you, U.S. officials, and this is off of Forward Observer, and we're going to look closer at some other data coming from them as well, but U.S. officials are concerned that Ukraine is running out of military-age males. The senior U.S. defense official expressed concern over Ukraine's ability to sustain current casualty rates and maintain adequate military personnel. It says Ukraine faces a shortage of 6 million working-age adults, impacting its economy, with casualty estimates exceeding 200,000, including 50,000 killed and 150,000 wounded. Ukraine's population has decreased from 43 million to 30 million. All right. Due to migration and war-related losses. Now, I will tell you, I've heard that number is nowhere near 30. I've heard it's down towards 18 million, which is from 43 million. That's a pretty big drop, right? And so Russian plans to mobilize an additional 100,000 troops, overwhelming Ukraine's capabilities while making modest gains. Ukraine faces heavy cost and Russian counterattacks. Again, if they keep poking in at Moscow, this is probably going to go south for them. They're already losing the war, and we've heard actually people say that at the official administration level during press conferences, of course, trying to back that up, but it kind of slipped out. Anyway, let's get over here and take a look at Flashbang's schedule for today. As you can see, he is still on vacay, and I think it's through another, I guess, the end of the week. So that is where he is right now. All right. Well, let's take a look as we talk about the economy and Flashbang, and we'll get into some of the other data that's going on out there. This is over on Forward Observer. Again, very good news source. If you don't get this, it's a daily drop of data from Forward Intelligence community guys. All right. Largest weekly crude oil inventory decline in 40 years. Says the U.S. Petroleum Institute reported a massive and unexpected drop in Americans' oil inventories. The API survey showed a week-over-week crude decline of 15.4 million barrels, far surpassing analysts' expectations of only 900,000 barrels. So it is, that's not good. That's almost 2x what they were expecting. Gasoline inventories saw another 1.68 million barrel decline, which puts inventories 7% less than the 5-year average. Now, drop down to the next bullet point here. The Biden administration rejects another round of SPR buys. The State Department Department of Energy will not take up any purchase offers. Sound it out, man, to refill the SPR from its latest round of bids, according to people familiar with the matter. Yeah, you may remember they said once it gets down to $72 a barrel, we'll start refilling. Well, it has not gotten there. In fact, it's going the other direction. And they're saying that it will not be refilled anytime soon because every time it starts to get close, the Saudis reduce their production, which jacks the price up. And that is intentional because the Saudis do not like Biden on any level. All right. All right, let's move away from Forward Observer and let's take a look at the current Bazooka Joe and his boy. So it says Devin Archer actually spills the beans and tells Congress about shady Burisma dealings and that Joe Biden's more than 20 conversations with them and how important it was. This deal, notice this is all tied to Ukraine, and you wonder why we are pumping the money in there. This goes deeper than just these two guys, folks. I will bet money on it. In fact, if we go back to the Uranium One scandal and start looking at the players, you'll find that there are quite a few deep state individuals involved in all of this, okay? All right. Now, this one, pay close attention to it because this special counsel, as you notice over here, is seeking a speedy trial. There's a reason for it. 2024. And I'm going to get to this. But indictment 3.0, as this guy, Jack Smith, indicts Trump the day after the Hunter and Joe Biden were implicated, just to take them off the main focus. But this is all about January 6th. And the items that they are going after him on have far-reaching implications, okay? Pay close attention to it because I've said this before. Their plan is to take this guy out. And if you don't believe it, take a look at this. Why do you think they want a speedy trial? Because they want to hang this guy before we get to the election. And yes, and that will send a ripple effect across all of the Americans who support this guy, right? Because you know we're on the short list. It says Jack Smith's charges against Trump include potential death penalty. Like I said, that's their plan. They got to get this guy out. They know if he stays upright, he will basically get the vote. There's nobody even running close to him. So the only way to get rid of him is to basically have him arrested, have him tried, and have him executed. And that sounds pretty bizarre and not good, but that's their plan, folks. All right. Check this out. This is a poll that just came out about Biden's America. Basically, it says military confidence is the lowest it has been in 2 decades. And you can see this poll right here. Is it just me? Maybe I'm just, it's the boomer in me. But every time I see the X up here, it wasn't really well thought out. I feel like that's basically what you do to close that box. So I just don't get why you would do that, especially with the placement up here in the right corner. All right. Well, hey. Anyway, this survey looks like they hit a low point in the early 80s, but this is it's headed that direction. So not a good place to be when it comes to the, a future war, right? Okay. Yeah, look at this here. The Trump January 6th case assigned to an Obama-appointed judge and an Obama donor. Yeah, against the guy that wants a speedy trial. I'm telling you, mark my word, that's the plan. And if we allow it, shame on us. All right, let's get over here to the NOTAMs. You'll just see you've got the usual fireboxes here in Canada. Down off the west coast, same thing, danger boxes. Looks like we got a little launch box to the north of Hawaii. And then east coast, same thing again. Just notice we've got these large boxes. That means that Flashbang is on the move. Let's see, that is from August 4th to 7th, back over to Wilmington. So it looks like he's headed from the beach back to his house before heading back to the Senior Living Center. Okay, then we get over to Europe. Let me back up, make sure I don't have anything way north, nothing. Looks like Iceland still got their exercises going on. Just notice how many boxes we have here. There's a lot of stuff going on here in Romania. And also along the borders, just notice these are border boxes along Poland. Very, very concerned because you've got the Wagner group standing up shop headed this direction. And so this is making these guys pretty nervous. All right. The Hungarian foreign minister says that the EU expects to fund the war in Ukraine for another 4 years. So at a cost of around 5 billion euros per year. That's coming from the Hungarian minister. So this thing isn't going anywhere anytime soon other than your tax dollars look to be the only thing going away. Okay, Biggs, Army Airfield. What do we have going on here today? I see one Southwest coming in from Dallas. That's going to be a deadhead flight, empty, more than likely. And then from there, it's headed down to Orlando. So that is more than likely taking some immigrants that were based at the immigration camp there in El Paso at Biggs Army Airfield and rehoming them into Orlando. On to the next, as we say, over to Dover. One Atlas Air coming in, 747-800. That's a brand new one, looks to be. And coming in from Chicago. And then notice down here below it, we have two on the docket scheduled 747-400s, one from Chicago, one from JFK. And then as we get over here, just notice where this one's going. That 800 is headed to RZE Poland, more than likely. It's carrying maybe some troops. As we get to that 3,000 number there in Poznan and RZE. And then let's see, got a Canberra flight here, looks to be headed straight into RZE as well. So maybe it looks like a split, these two flights, that 800 headed to RZE and then this 747-400 headed to RZE. And then this one, the split heading over to Ramstein. So everything is Europe bound on very large aircraft. Over here to Ramstein. Notice the Brits coming in. That's a little F900, small aircraft inbound from Amari. And then we drop down a little further. We've got a Canberra flight, 747 from Tampa, MacDill Air Force Base. Atlas Air from Baltimore, Washington, 67300, probably troops. And then this MD-11 from Columbus, Ohio. That's could be troops, could be artillery, could be anything, but it looks like that one's the one we just looked at coming in from Dover. And then Canberra flight from there, from Ramstein down to RZE, Forward Operating Base 747. Probably one that landed a couple of days ago as we saw. Those were coming inbound. And then that back to Washington, Baltimore, Washington International. So this one was probably carrying equipment. Right. Okay. Speaking of RZE Poland, let's see what we got here. This is going to be, getting pretty busy. 747 in from direct from Columbus, Ohio. So troops, tanks, wonder what that could be. AN-21, that's an Airbus AN-3, I guess Airbus 300, a Neo? I never heard of the Neo. So, all right, that's just a commercial flight, so nothing to watch there. All right, let's go on down. Canberra flight from Ramstein, 747. Another Canberra from Ohio. So we got two 747s coming in from Ohio, Rickenbacker. So it's either carrying a lot of equipment or they're bringing troops from that location to this forward operating base. And then this one from Dover, 747-800. So we got a lot of 747s. Look at these two more, Wright Pat and Dover as well. And so apologize for losing that screen. And then let's see, as we get on down to this Canberra flights, 4 of them, as you see, everywhere from Newfoundland to Poznan, which is our Polish base, and destination unknown. And then this one looks to be coming Rocklaw. Don't know where that is, but headed to Portsmouth and then Kuwait to destination unknown. So a little active for a Wednesday. Let's move on over to this side. We're going to take a look at the Western Globals. Notice this one's coming in to Southwest Florida, Fort Myers Beach from Ostend. Interesting. And then an Anchorage to Los Angeles. So that, again, I think they're staging some equipment and stuff here in and out, as that will probably make its way either replan for U.S. troops or it's headed over across the drink. And then on over to this aspect, nothing from a NATO perspective. Let's go over to Omni. We've got one from March Air Force Base to Fort Worth, Perot Field, and then Manchester to Toronto. So moving Canadians here. And that could be, with Omni, there's no telling. That could be Amazon related. It just depends, right? Because this is March. They have a Amazon hub right here at that base location. And we know they definitely have them in Fort Worth. So could be moving some troops. We'll see what happens with that one. Okay, and then on over here to this side, this is going to be Saib, Muscat. These are the Brits rolling in and out. Looks like they've got a couple flights airborne there. And then that one is Hanover. All right. Let me back it up a little bit. Yeah, so it gives you kind of an idea where they are located. And last one up, the Immigrant Machine. Notice the soiree of aircraft down in Central America. And then this one that's actually headed further south. But looks to be rolling from Bordertown to Alexandria, 2 of them. So it looks like some folks are getting detained. And then this one, the usual, from Ontario, California to Greensboro. And so that's probably Amazon related too, taking some folks to work. All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for our SITREP today. We will see you guys on Friday, but until then, keep that powder dry and stay frosty. We'll talk soon. God bless. Monkey out. Thanks for watching, folks. Check out the latest gear and products over at monkeywerxus.com.